Coach, congratulations. Looked like there at the end, defense really led to offense that allowed you to close the game. What did you think of the way your team ended this one?
Yeah, I thought we defended really well down the stretch. I thought we defended and rebounded. I thought really the whole second half, Eric Bledsoe doing the job he did on Tim Hardaway was important, because Tim had killed us in the first half, and Bled went on him and just got into him and made it a lot tougher on all of his shots. I thought that was key. But then down the stretch, everybody really got into it and guarded and rebounded. And then at the other end, we didn't turn the ball over. We got good shots and we knocked some down. So a total difference in the last 6.5 minutes from the 6.5 into the last 6.5 minutes last night. And, we've said this before, we came off of the collapse against Phoenix, and then we came back and, had the huge comeback against Boston. And then we had the huge collapse in Portland. And a few days later, we have a game going down the stretch in Denver, and we do a great job and execute and win. So it's not consistent yet, but our guys are trying hard. They understand what has to be done. And tonight, the last 6.5 minutes were really, really good.
You had some really big performances from multiple guys, including Zion and Na, but wanted to ask you specifically about Kyra, because he seemed to get some really crucial minutes, some minutes where the game was really on the line. What did you think of his performance, and do you think games like this, experiences like this, are what are going to help him take the next steps?
Well, absolutely. I mean, that's what, anytime guys like he and Nikhil and Jackson, who didn't play tonight, anytime those guys can get minutes, particularly in close games like this, that's where you learn and that's where you develop. And I thought both Kyra and Nikhil were outstanding at the offensive end of the floor. And then Nikhil had one great defensive possession late in the game. So, good night for both of those guys.
Coach, this is not in the box score department, but how important are these high screens that Steven Adams is setting at the top of the key to free up space and allow Zion to get to the rim and the guards to drive to the hoop? Because, again, that really doesn't show on the box score, but it's very important.
Yeah, I mean, they keep it in the league, screen assists, and Steven certainly is one of the best screeners in this league. Sets solid legal screens all the time and gives guys a chance to get downhill. I mean, the bucket that really got us started in the right direction down the stretch was B.I.'s pull-up off of one of Steven's screens. He got him all kinds of space, and he was able to knock it down. That got us started, and then we went on from there. So a lot of times Steven's numbers may not be real impressive, but he's a guy that we absolutely need to win with.
I know it was really early in the year, but going back to one of the early wins against San Antonio when it was, I want to say 98, 95, so really like games like that when they're kind of muddied up and you got to make plays defensively. Was tonight one of those type of games?
Well, a little bit. I mean, Rick's a great coach, obviously, and not having Porzingis and Luka and playing on the second night of a back-to-back, they walked it up every time and called a set play every time. So it was a slower game, and that always is going to make it more of a grinded-out affair. So he did a great job with those two guys out, giving them a chance to win, and then our guys finished the game really, really well.
And Zion got to the line 18 times tonight. What does that number just say about his willingness to keep attacking?
Well, yeah, and tonight was interesting because I'm going to say on 8 or 10 of those, they didn't even try to defend him without fouling. Like a lot of times you're wondering if he's going to get the call. He's leaning in. It looks like he's getting pushed, hit. I mean, he'd just get by him and they just swipe at him tonight. I mean, it was pretty obvious. And then obviously they took a foul on him late in the whole thing. I mean, you know me, and you call it posturing or whatever, it's really not. Like, to me, he gets hit on almost every drive. Like, if they would really call it, he should probably shoot that many every night.
Yeah, and I think Zion ended up scoring or assisting on the final 14 points of the game. Just what do you think of the way he closed things out in the fourth quarter, and how important is it for him just to keep on getting comfortable with that role?
Yeah, I mean, look, last night, you know, I got a little testy with you guys, and you know, after you had said, like, do we need to get Zion the ball more late in the game? I went right into the office and watched the last 6:46. He handled the ball on every single possession in the last 6:40 until the possession where we were down 3 with 15 seconds to go. Every possession. And so the difference between last night and tonight is tonight when he passed the ball, guys made shots. And so now we're saying, oh, he's making great decisions. And last night you guys are saying, oh, you're not going to him enough. No, we're going to him, and he's making the same plays. Just the other guys went 0 for 7 last night, 0 for 5 from 3. He's making the right plays. And yes, for him, it's very, very important to be in those situations. It's different, man, and it's not going to be perfect every night when you're putting a guy like him in that position. You know, I mean, these point guards have done that their entire lives, and he's just now getting into that closing out game. So it's not going to be perfect, but he's done it pretty damn well both nights, actually, and he'll continue to get better at it.
Stan, it seems like he's come a really long way in terms of late game situations from the beginning of the season, where maybe sometimes it didn't even feel like you didn't know if you really wanted him on the court sometimes very, very late in games, and now he feels like he can kind of do everything. The fact that he's progressed to the level he has in such a short period of time, what does that kind of say to you and just about his ability and his growth trajectory and all those kinds of things?
Well, it's two things, right? I mean, obviously he's a phenomenal talent. Okay, so we start there. He's got great skill, you know, and he's getting an opportunity. And so he's a very, very smart guy. I've said that on numerous occasions, and he learns and he takes things in. And so he's still going to make some mistakes, and he'll probably have some games he doesn't finish well, but he'll learn from it and move on. And that's why, you know, we've got so much confidence in him, because if it's not great one night, it'll be better the next night. I mean, this is a guy who learns, and he's taken advantage of the opportunity he's been given.
Coach, you guys began the game really well. Started and had a, I think, 15-point lead at the end of the first quarter, but then you really hit a wall in the second. Was there anything said either in halftime or maybe you changed schematically to where the guys really, like you said earlier, came out and played really well in the second half?
I really, there was nothing schematically. Look, I mean, one of the things that happened, as you guys know, our second unit has been playing really well together. It's been Kyra, Nikhil, Josh, Zion with that group, and Jackson. And because of some of the guys being out and stuff, and Nikhil starting, so now we're different lineups in there. And that was, I think, a little bit of a problem. We weren't into the right rhythm. No, at halftime, there were no schematic changes. It was all about getting down and playing the ball and doing everything harder. I mean, there's a lot of things you can do to adjust, but usually the most effective adjustment you can make defensively in a game is to put more into it. And that's what our guys did. And I thought a lot of guys did that tonight, but I thought Bled really led the way. You know, I thought he led the way on Hardaway and made life a little bit tougher. And I think that was key, because Timmy lit us up in the first half. And, you know, that's a great one for me. This ends up being a great night for me because we win and Timmy played well. And I've known Timmy since he was like 3 years old, you know, and love the kid and the family and the whole thing. And so him having a good game and us winning, really, really good night for a Pelicans-Mavericks game for me.
Yeah, and you mentioned Z's always going to make the right play. If they send multiple guys out, he's going to make that pass. What do you think about the way Nikhil's been shooting the ball lately, and how much has that helped the offense, the way he's knocking down those shots when they send those doubles?
Yeah, no, the thing I liked is he didn't make the shots last night, right? So he missed a couple down the stretch last night, and he came back with great confidence and got him tonight and knocked him in. That's the kind of growth. And, you said Z always makes the right play. He doesn't. And he won't. And there'll be nights he doesn't. And, the key thing is to keep coming back on it, coming back at it and learning and trying to make the right play. Our guys' hearts are in the right place, playing unselfishly and trying to learn. And that's what you expect out of guys.
Hey Coach, this is Davide Chiarilato from Italy. My question is about Zion. Did you expect him to be so good when you first started with the team?
I mean, I don't know if anybody would have predicted what he's done on some of these nights, but I certainly knew he had the ability, to handle the ball and make plays. I've said to our local people a lot, I spent a lot of time on the phone with Coach K talking about him, and he talked about his intelligence, which has certainly come out true, and he talked about his playmaking ability. Now, did I think I knew going into the season we would run some plays with him handling the ball. Did I think we'd just have him be the primary ball handler the entire fourth quarter of close games? No, I didn't have that expectation. That has just grown with time. So I guess he's probably in that area exceeded my expectations, which were pretty high to begin with. But he's still 20. He's still playing a tough position, and he's still going to have some rough nights and some rough endings. I mean, it's just, that's what you're going to, I mean, everybody does, first of all, and second of all, that's how you learn in this league. I coached Wade when he was a rookie, and we were playing against LeBron when he was a rookie. I mean, people think those guys, were what they were 10 years from now when they came in. No. The game was rough for them back then. Handling the ball and making plays and turning the ball over, it's hard. So he's going to have his tough moments, but you got to love what he's doing right now.
Stan, just real quick, Brandon has struggled a little bit late in game situations. Nice to see him make a couple shots. Is that meaningful for you guys, and for him, or is that just something as the season goes along you sort of expect him to make that anyway?
Yeah, I do expect him to make them, and that was good for him. Like I said, I thought he really started our run with that pull-up coming off of Steven. That sort of got things going. But when you start talking in a season about so-called clutch statistics, like I had the statistic on my desk tonight, it got handed to me. We've played 45 games now, right? Brandon's played every one of them. And those minutes come out, the way they grade clutched up to 79 minutes. So we're talking on average less than 2 minutes a game. So I don't think that, has anything to do with like, oh, wow, in 79 minutes, the guy has struggled, so he can't play in the clutch. I mean, I could take a random 79 minutes of anybody throughout the year, could be in the first quarter. And what are you going to say? Oh, that guy can't ever get off to a good start. It's just not a big enough sample size. I mean, come see me 5 years from now and let me know what it looks like career-wise, and then we can talk about it. Brandon Ingram's fine. He's a guy we want on the floor. We want the ball in his hands. We want him shooting the ball late in the game. And he had a rough one last night, and people forget quickly. 5 days before that, he was in Denver, and he was the guy closing out the game, making shots. But, we're in a business. What have you done for me lately? And so everybody forgot Sunday and went right to Friday. Oh, this guy didn't get it done. Okay. It's a little crazy.
Thanks, Coach. We're all set.
All right.
Go ahead.
Nikhil, after missing the one in the corner last night, I guess how good was it just to see a couple of them fall in the last 5 minutes tonight?
It was a lot of fun. It was a great feeling, of course, and After a tough one like last night, being able to come back, be in the same situation and handle it the way we would like to was relieving as well.
Yeah, I think Zion ended up scoring or assisting on the final 14 points for you guys. Just what do you think about the way he closed the game and just his overall growth in those situations this year?
I mean, just every read, he's making the right read, and of course he's doing Zion things. I mean, at this point in time, like I'm not surprised. I mean, he's a great player and very unselfish, and he made winning plays tonight.
Nikhil, what have you just learned about playing off of it? I mean, it seems like these last 4 games, I mean, he's found you for a lot of baskets. I mean, what have you just learned about the best way, you can get your offense next to that?
I think understanding how teams are playing him. Them helping so much off of me will give me a open shot, or being able to attack a closeout and put them in rotation just because of how dominant he is, just the fact that he's on the floor. As well as screening opportunities, loaded sides, just being able to see the game, feel the game, and make plays.
Yeah, and we talked earlier in the year about your three-point numbers not being quite as high as they were last year. I think these last 5 or 6 games, you've been hitting them at a high rate. Is this something you're doing differently, or is it just a matter of, just continuing that repetition throughout the year and just now making them more confidence?
I'll say a little bit of both. As far as just keeping the same routine and sticking to the routine, but also being confident in myself, not really worrying about the next shot, trying to see if this will be the one, just shooting them and trusting my work and allowing it to come.
Nikhil, the team got off to a really great start. You guys had a 15-point lead at the end of the first quarter, but really hit a wall there in the second. What can you point to for the change coming out of halftime, particularly, I think, after an early timeout in the third quarter, for the way you guys were able to finish that game from that point on?
Definitely Eric Bledsoe, in my opinion. He definitely held us in. There was a good stretch where he was either scoring or assisting every basket, getting stops. And then that's when Z and everybody else started to kind of take over. And so I think Bled kept us in. After that tough little stretch, he was doing a lot, and he was being the vet that we know and love.
Thank you, Nikhil. We're all set.
Thank you.
Christian, you can start us off.
Zion, it looked like you and Brandon were both very excited for Nikhil when he hit that straightaway 3. Just what do you see on that play there? Can you just take me through it?
I had the ball and I was pushing it in transition. Coach always says, even when it's late in the game, don't try to play the clock, just keep playing. So I was looking to go in transition, but they had the wall. And I saw Nikhil coming in trailing, do it to him, and that's the Nikhil I know. Always confident in who he is, and when he let it go and then it went in smooth, I was hyped. Y'all probably saw me just yelling, getting hyped for him, because that was a big moment.
Yeah, you ended up either scoring or assisting on the final 14 points of the game. Just what were you seeing out there during that closing stretch, just kind of, making the plays to win the game?
Honestly, I was just making the reads. If the driving lane was there, I was going to go. But I also used that to my advantage when it came to passing, because I got great shooters around me who are, very confident. So when I made the pass, they executed off of it.
Do you think you've grown more comfortable in that role as the season has gone along? I know you said you've been trained to be that guy, since you were young. Do you feel like now with this team, you're starting to feel like you can be that closer, from night to night?
I've always felt comfortable with it. I played basketball my whole life, and when I say that I've been trained, it means that I've been prepared for that moment. This isn't the first time that I've been in these moments growing up. So, this is new to y'all, and I want to once again thank my coaches, thank my teammates for trusting me to be in that situation and be who I am. So once again, I'm grateful for them, and we pulled away with the W.
Hey Zion, kind of in that same vein, something you talk about a lot is just making the right play. I mean, making the right read is important to you. I mean, where do you feel like that mindset comes from? Is that something that's intuitive? Is that something that somebody taught you?
you know, it was taught to me, but at the same time, I want to make the best play that's going to win. That's going to help us win. Sometimes that's knowing when to shoot it and when not to shoot it, when to make the pass, when not to make the pass. You know, I just want to win. As simple as that.
Hey, Zion, Coach Carlisle, after the game for Dallas, he said that you were like a force of nature, like Shaquille O'Neal, the point guard, my skill set. What does that mean when you hear accolades like that, and do you think that's a pretty good assessment of you?
You know, it's an honor to hear my name in those categories, but I am who I am. I'm Zion. I'm trying to be the first and only Zion. That's all there is to it.
Hey Zion, it's Andrew from ESPN. We're in the fourth quarter down the stretch. Are you thinking about last night's game at all, in the sense of, look, we didn't close it out last night. We got to do this night. I mean tonight. And did that play anything into it just then?
A little bit. Not a lot, because you know that's yesterday. It's a new day. But you know, it did play a tiny part of it. And you know, I'm gonna just go ahead and say this. I know it's a little off topic, but you know, shout out to Bled. Bled played great defense on Hardway in the second half. Made him take a lot of tough shots, and that was really big for us on the defensive end. But you know, we think about that yesterday a tiny bit, but our mindset was to get the win today.
And the shots weren't falling as much for Nikhil to start the season, but what do you think about the way he's played these past few games, you know, stepping to that starting role with Zoa?
It shows that he's growing and he's getting better as the season's going on. And, you know, that's what you look for in a player his age, you know, to see if he's going to continue to grow, if he's going to stay still. And he's continued to grow. You know, we trust Nikhil to step into that role and, you know, be who he is.
Thanks, Zion. We're all set.
No problem, you guys. Have a good night.
All right, Christian, you can start it off.
Yeah, you guys have been in a lot of close games this year. I mean, do you look at these opportunities as just a chance for, like, I mean, I guess learning how to win as a young team? I mean, how just valuable are these opportunities for you guys to have?
Very, very valuable. I think we just attacked the mismatch in that fourth quarter the whole time, and we knew that Zion pretty much had a mismatch the whole entire game, and he did a good job of being assertive, knowing when to attack the basket, and knowing when to make the right play and make the pass. And Nikhil knocked down the shot that he needed to, and they pushed our win tonight.
Yeah, and just during the course of the year, what have you kind of learned as far as what it takes for this team to be effective in those moments late in games?
So, I've learned that we have to continue to stay together. I think in those moments we look for execution, but we don't quite know what to go to exactly in those moments. But I've learned that just staying together and being consistent in our offense and in our defense has been really, really good when we just go out there and play loose and just playing like ourselves.
Yeah, Kyra had a couple plays that a lot of guys on the sideline, on the bench were excited about. Obviously, he played well overall. What are you seeing from him as far as just the progress that he's making and the way that he's impacting the game?
Steady progress every single game. I think we're most excited because we see him every single day when he's doing his work and when he's going against us, going against the starters and seeing how talented he is. So for him to get an opportunity to go out there and do exactly what he does and continue to grow and learn each and every game, it's exciting to see.
Hey, Brad, just on Zion, kind of taking over late. I mean, 39 last night, 38 tonight. It seems like he's starting to reach another level, especially when it comes to the fourth quarter. What do you see from him? Maybe his player, maybe looking at it, maybe getting into his mindset a little bit. What's been different, do you think, in these last few games?
I think he's already had the approach that nobody on the floor can guard him one-on-one. But I see him have a sense of urgency even more when he goes into the game and he has a guy in front of him, just the will to get to the rim and finish. So it's been good, not just the fourth quarter, but it's been good throughout the whole entire game. And it makes our team a dangerous team, especially when we got Nikhil Alexander knocking down shots like that, and Kyra stepping into the shots and knocking them down, and Eric Bledsoe being confident in everything that he's doing tonight and knocking shots down. And then we got Lonzo coming out, not playing these last few games, so it's really exciting. It helps our team out a lot.
Yeah, Nikhil joked a couple of games ago that it seems like their games when Zion goes 16 or 14 from the field. What are your thoughts on the efficiency on a game in game out basis?
Yeah, I mean, it does seem like that some nights. Just the way he finishes over the bigger guys, the way he finishes over Boban tonight, which is really big guys. I mean, the ability to go in there and know the angles of the basket and know the angles of everything around the rim is really beautiful. And to be as efficient as he is and go to the rim and sometimes get fouled and playing through it is beautiful to see.
Thank you, B.I. That'll be it.
Thank you.
Okay.